Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Robert Donaldson, and welcome back to another edition of Rob's Best Bets. And once again, we are talking about college basketball conference tournament futures. And in this episode, we are talking about the league that has kind of taken college basketball by storm this season, the SEC. And the reason why the SEC has done so is because they dominated non-con, and they have a real good chance to actually get 12 or even 13 teams into the NCAA tournament field. And it starts here in Nashville, where we have a 16-team bracket, and I do think there's a lot of viable teams. I'm actually not going to list them all because there are literally too many to name, and that's what ultimately I think makes this field interesting, because how motivated are an Auburn or a Florida going to be, or even an Alabama, where their seed lines in the NCAA tournament are pretty much solidified. We know exactly where they're going to slot in, but those rest of those teams, they might be fighting for better seeds. They might be fighting just to get in the tournament, period. And for those reasons, I think there's a ton of value on some of these long shots on the board. So let's go ahead and start with our longest long shot, and this is a very long shot. 290 to 1 is this long shot, and it happens to be taking place in their hometown, and I am looking at Vanderbilt. And when you look at Vanderbilt, they've already competed in conference tournament, or not conference tournament, but tournament action this season when you look back to the non-con slate, and they did extremely well. They played their ass off. They have really great guards. They are really well coached with Mark Byington, and if any team can catch fire from that first kind of row of teams that play on Wednesday, I think that Vanderbilt is head and shoulders above the rest. And for that reason, I say we go ahead and place a half unit on those insane odds, 290 to 1. And again, this isn't to win a half unit. This is to win 145 units off of a half unit stake. But let's go ahead and ride the doors for our first bet here in the SEC tournament. For pick number 2, we are going to stay on that same seed line trajectory where we have Texas A&M and Buzz Williams. And Buzz Williams in this tournament over the years has made countless runs with lesser talented teams. And this year's talent in terms of his roster is at an all-time high in his entire coaching career. I really do think this is a team that's viable to make a Final Four type of run in the NCAA tournament. But in the SEC tournament, I think they're totally viable to pick off anybody, especially if an Auburn team kind of sleepwalks and doesn't care about the semifinal round, or even gets picked off in the quarterfinals by an Arkansas or by an Ole Miss. So let's go ahead and place 1.5 units on Texas A&M, 25 to 1. Found this on DraftKings, and let's go ahead and ride the Aggies in the same seed line for our second bet here in the SEC tournament. For pick number 3, we are once again staying on that same damn seed line because I am taking Tennessee here as well. And the big reason why I'm investing 3 times on this same line is because I do think at the top side, potentially in a semifinal round, whether it's Ole Miss, Arkansas, or Auburn, I feel like against Ole Miss or Arkansas, this seed line is going to have a really good chance to pick that team off. And if it is Auburn, I do wonder if they're even going to be motivated to actually compete and play in that game. And Tennessee, we're seeing crazy odds on this seed line because of Auburn sitting in the semifinal round potentially, but Tennessee, 6 to 1 your odds on DraftKings, and I feel like it's a no-brainer to place 2.5 units on Tennessee here. I do feel like, again, they're in the state of Tennessee. They're going to have a lot of fan contingent here, and I do think they're going to be motivated to actually win the conference tournament. So let's go ahead and place 2.5 units on Tennessee to win the SEC tournament. All right, for our final bet here in the SEC tournament, we're turning our heads over to Florida, and the reason why I really like Florida here is because even though right now they're sitting comfortably in that number 1 seed, I feel like they feel they are not locked into that spot, and I do think they're probably locked into that spot, win or lose, whether they, win a single game in this conference tournament or not. But at the same time, I do think they're going to be out to make a statement, unlike an Auburn, who is already solidified as a #1 seed. And in my opinion, Florida is actually the best team in this conference. When we saw them play Auburn in the jungle, Florida ran Auburn off their own home floor without their best player, or at least one of their best players. And I think that made a statement. I think they're out to make another statement here in the SEC tournament. So let's go ahead and place 2 units on Florida, plus 270 on DraftKings. And I do think they're going to be emerging from the bottom side of the bracket. And if we can get one of those teams from that top end seed line, I feel like we're going to have a really, really good shot to make some serious dough here in the SEC tournament. All that being said, I really want to thank you guys for checking out today's video. And if you do want to show some love, make sure you drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you comment down below. But with all that being said, y'all, I will see you in a future video. Take it easy.